Hello everybody and welcome back to Apple Gaming SE. This is Apple News and Opinion for April 28th through May 4th, 2024. No new subs this week, but also no loss of subs, still holding strong at 190. Thank you everybody so much for your continued support. I appreciate you all. We are, I think I'm going to look at trying to do a little bit more work on doing videos for new content, new games that come out for Apple Arcade and things like that, just to maybe grow the channel a little bit. I've been working on my other channel, Polymatrix, for the last few weeks pretty intensely, trying to do a new phone review, so I have not been able to focus all of my attention on Apple Gaming SE like I normally do. So that said, we will actually jump into the news now. So thanks again for sticking around. All right, first in this week, two stories regarding the EU and Apple. The first, or they're both from Apple Insider, and they're kind of related, but they're not quite the same thing. So the first is that the EU core technology fee for small and non-profit developers is going to get pared back. I think overall this is a good move in revising the requirements to apply the core technology fee. I also worry that Apple will still be taking on the additional overhead of running and maintaining the certification of these third-party app and app marketplace developers. At the same time, I really don't think that any developer is making no money at all, that say they're doing a freeware project, for example, that they should be fined for something outside of their control. You know, under the original rules, a fee like this could be weaponized against a freeware developer, requiring them to pay like theoretically €500,000 to Apple. So in this context, it is effectively, I should say, impossible that for something like that to occur with Apple not requiring a fee for a freeware app. And Apple is not going to fight the EU over the iPad gatekeeper status. Third-party app stores are coming to the iPad. And I have said before that I think in the US, the Department of Justice lawsuit against Apple is capricious, and I feel the exact same way about the EU, especially when we're talking about the iPad. Especially so when the EU's anti-competition regulator says, quote, "Our market investigation showed that despite not meeting the threshold, iPadOS constitutes an important gateway on which many companies rely to reach their customers," end quote. So she is referring to the iPad being a gatekeeper for the market, and she herself has said that it does not meet their threshold. But still, they're going to enforce these regulations upon iPad OS anyway. So I'll rest my case here. I think the EU has an allergy to any kind of large organized body that's not its own bureaucratic mess, and will bring down the regulation hammer to deal with anyone who oppose their will. At the end of the day, though, users will have more choices from where to get their apps, and developers on where to develop their apps and distribute them. Alright, three stories that are related coming back home here to the US. They are from Apple Insider. The first is that Tim Cook is dismissing the Department of Justice lawsuit in the shadow of strong earnings. The next is named Morgan Stanley hikes Apple stock target after unexpectedly positive earnings. And the last is titled Apple blows away Wall Street earnings estimates even with weak China iPhone sales. So these headlines are at least tangentially related due to them all discussing the second quarter earnings of Apple. In short, Apple has beat the analysts' expectations despite third-party rumors of plummeting iPhone sales in China. Services revenue is up, operating profits are up, Mac sales saw a slight bump as well, and the iPhone actually saw a slight increase in China sales. So they were still weak overall, but just a little bit better than they were last year. In all other areas, the company saw flat or reduced performance, but Apple still won where it counted to investors. That's operating costs and profits. As a case in point, Apple pointed out that the Department of Justice has discrepancies in how it calculates market share, not by number of devices sold or services in use, but by revenue-based market share. Even though the number of Apple product sales are less than half of all similar product sales in the entire US market. So, just to point that out there. Apple also added that 85% of developers don't pay a commission to Apple, and that the rest may qualify for the 15% commission fee. For a long time, my father has said, follow the money, and I think this is clearly clear as day as you can get that the Department of Justice is telling Apple, you're making too much money and we need to come down on that. We need some of that money. So I had a friend of mine say, basically other big tech companies are broken up, like Google and Facebook and, things like that. So it's just Apple's turn. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not, but I think it's about the money more than anything else. On to some gaming news. Assassin's Creed Mirage is the latest AAA game coming to iPhone and iPad. I linked 2 stories here, one from 9to5Mac, the other from Mac Rumors. And I am excited to see what this game has in store for us, and I'll probably be playing at least the first 90 minutes for a stream. I'm not sure. As somebody who's not really an Assassin's Creed fan, I'm not sure that I'm going to buy and play the whole game. I could never really get into the games. Some of the lore is interesting, but just I don't know what it is. The gameplay, the mechanics, the environments and the worlds they're set in, it doesn't capture me like some other games have. Regardless, I want to believe this is going to be another great title to have on the iPhone and iPad, and I'm really starting to think I need to buy a used or refurbished iPad Pro. Next story is that the iPhone 15 has a Find My, which shows the Mandalorians in the latest Apple ad. This is from Apple Insider. I did actually watch this ad on Friday when it came out. I thought it was a great ad. It's fun to watch. I think you should watch it. Even though I really mostly don't like the direction Disney Star Wars has headed in, I think the Mandalorian was overall more good than bad, and I just went to a small local con last weekend, so this whole commercial is set about a guy who's cosplaying a Mandalorian, going to a convention and trying to find his clan. So it's really fun, and just kind of hits, because I was just at a con. So definitely go watch it. I know someone on one of the Apple marketing teams, but sadly this person did not work on this particular ad, so I don't have any insights that I can give. No rumors or anything like that. Obviously, if I can ever get a little something, I'll shoot it y'all's way, but not this time, I'm afraid. So on May 7th, we have the Let Loose event, and it would be remiss of me if I did not at least touch on the rumor mill. So top of the charts. Biggest rumor is that there's going to be a new iPad Pro and Apple Pencil, and I can believe it because that's the emblem for this event, is a hand holding an iPad Pencil or an Apple Pencil. The only thing that uses an Apple Pencil is an iPad, so it's probably pretty obvious we're going to at least get something, probably an iPad Pro, definitely an iPad Pro, definitely an Apple Pencil. So that's expected for sure. I'm kind of personally 50-50 on if Apple will debut with that iPad Pro the M4 series SoCs. I'm kind of more expecting an M3 iPad Pro, maybe like an M3 Pro iPad Pro. I suppose there's an argument that the AI features of an iPad would be a better introduction for the hardware than a Mac would be. And add to that Apple is largely seen as behind the competition for AI, so they might drop hardware that can support the newer AI functions later this year. So I can see the argument both ways for and against it. Of course, this too would necessitate upgrades to the iPad Air line, if for no other reason than it's just the next most popular device to use Apple Pencils. There's rumors of larger screen sizes and new display tech. I'm personally not sold on the screen size upgrades, though it absolutely could be a possibility. I think with the inflationary period we're in, Apple is going to want to keep costs down, and there may be a fear of driving away sales as a result of price increases. That said, price increases have usually accompanied screen size changes. So, if a price increase is going to occur, then it's probably going to occur with a screen size change. The iPad mini and iPad 11 are not expected to see upgrades. In my opinion, these are probably going to be out-of-cycle press release spec bumps later this year. I'm personally maybe 60-40 on if we're going to see a newer Magic Keyboard for the iPad. Rumors have existed for months that the keyboard would start to utilize aluminum to look more like a MacBook. Rumors are also circulating around that USB-C accessories similar are going to mirror basically the changes that have come to the iPhones and iPads and the AirPods lineup. So think along the lines of USB-C Mac keyboards, mice, and trackpads. If they did do that, I might buy an Apple keyboard again. First one I would own in a long time, although I've got a really good keyboard here that I like. I might buy a Pro keyboard and like a Magic keyboard for the Mac. So, but that's it. That's news and opinions for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please leave your comments down below. I will definitely be watching the Apple event on Tuesday. So if you are in one of the Discord servers that I frequent, by all means, let's chat. So that being said, please like and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you all in the next Apple news and opinions video. Take care now. Bye-bye.